Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto, where we take the markets one leg at a time while taking the market cycle in mind. And if you like the information contained in today's video, check out our Slack chat room, which you can sign up for on the homepage of my website, real-crypto.com. All right, let's take a look at the big news of the day. Citibank actually announcing a very high price target for an institution, 300,000 by December 2021. That's about a year away, and I guess they're kind of going along with Bitcoin topping in December, but that is an absolutely massive gain for Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin currently is at just under $17,000. So that's basically a 20x from where we are right now. You can argue that 10x of 16,000 would be $160,000, and double that would be $320,000. You can say that's pretty close to 300K. So this analyst is drawing similarities between gold in the 1970s and Bitcoin today. And I've actually done some analysis on this. I didn't really do a price target, nor did I quite get to, I don't think I would get to $318,000 as this gentleman did. But at the same time, he also says, the guy that posted this also said this kind of technical analysis is of little value. There's no edge in guessing targets so far in time. All we know is that price is likely to continue to go up. I would actually generally agree with that. But if you have a price target of 318, one thing that can do for you is at least think you're getting over 100. I mean, if nothing else, you would say Bitcoin's likely to get over $100,000. And, you know, using technical analysis, if you guys are familiar with that, if you know about distribution rules, topping signals, things of that nature, you can actually do a good job of timing an exit on Bitcoin. So I don't know if we're going to get to 320 from 16,000, but it's actually a pretty amazing price target. And right now, I'm willing to say, sure, let's go with it. But Bitcoin at this moment in time has been on a tremendous run. I know since my last video, we were kind of on the fence waiting for things to break up or break down. They've obviously broken up. The lines you see on my chart are some of our more recent alert levels as we've been sticking with the chart going up. We also have these green arrows, which one of our members, Monkeytron, actually coded a pretty great system for something that we call the follow-through day system. It comes from Investors Business Daily and stocks, and I've adapted it to cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. And so these are your accumulation days for Bitcoin. Now, the follow-through day system is based on accumulation and distribution. These red candles are distribution. The green candles are accumulation. We have 0 distribution days since this day right here. It's been quite a long time since Bitcoin has printed a distribution day. That is very bullish. We actually did some work today on this and found that generally when Bitcoin goes on for long runs without a distribution day, you're looking at around a 50% gain or so from the follow-through day, and we're sitting at about 30%. And if we do get to 50%, you're looking up here right around 20,000 again, 19,000, 20,000. So I'm not saying we're guaranteed to get there, but things are looking very good. Looking at the bigger picture of BTC, we can go naked chart for a minute too. Let's go to Bitstamp and go naked chart. It really is looking spectacular. I mean, just from a very first glance test, you look at this. If you're a trader and you say, I want this, you just say, I want this. Now, the cycle is very long. It's taken a long time to kind of go from peak to trough back to peak, but that's okay because usually the runs after that are substantial. You can look over here, and actually it's funny, I did trade Bitcoin in 2013. For those of you that don't remember that story, I've told it a couple of times about this bull flag right here when I didn't know anything about Bitcoin, and I bought it and ran it all the way up into these highs up here and got filled somewhere up here. I don't remember. I could look on Coinbase, but I really don't care that much. Anyway, but yeah, I bought off this bull flag, and we were sitting like this. This is what we were sitting like back then, and I'm like, holy crap, I know nothing about Bitcoin. I know it's an asset I can buy, and so I went and I bought it based on that bull flag, and let the results speak for themselves. Now, in this situation, we're almost like this on Bitcoin right now. We don't necessarily have that major bull flag, but we are in a very substantial uptrend. Volume is also elevated, not exactly like this particular market. It's not as bullish at $200 as it is at 17,000. But you can argue that coming out of this larger cycle in a pause just in front of the 20,000 potential breakout point could be a great thing. So I don't know how it's going to handle 20,000, but all I know is that we're very likely to get there. Now, we have about a month and a half until the end of 2020, and we could get there. The momentum here is quite significant. But if you do look at the volume from this perspective, as we just saw in Bitstamp, it's not as aggressive as we saw. Now, maybe one reason why is because Binance is actually the dominant Bitcoin market, and the volume on Binance is relatively large. They weren't as big in 2017. So here's the top in BTC, right there. And you can see the volume really nowhere near. So it's hard to give an apples to apples comparison. But, you could say volume's pretty good here. I think a test up towards 20,000 is somewhat likely. On the shorter term horizon, we are slightly losing steam on this uptrend. Now, given it's still a great uptrend, but we do have declining volume since our last massive candle here. We did consolidate nicely and have had a couple of legs up, and volume is still good. I mean, it's still really big volume. You see this blue dotted line by happenstance kind of marks the top of the candle that we just kind of closed on the day, and you can see there's only maybe a dozen or 20 candles above or at that line. So we're still in really good volume territory. I'm not saying we're going to fall off a cliff really soon. As a matter of fact, I really do like the action in Bitcoin, but it is something just to look into and keep an eye at, going forward in terms of, what is likely to slow us down. It's just a lack of buying pressure because we've been rallying for so long. I mean, if you look at this since our breakout point at 12.4, it's been a straight shot for about 34%. No pullbacks, but a couple of pauses, which is great market action. But we are getting fairly heated up here. I wouldn't be shocked at some type of a selling event, but I would like to stay with BTC. It has been leading the market. If you guys don't know, I am really huge on leadership and first movers, and Bitcoin this time around has been both of those. And I want to give you guys one bonus coin if you guys haven't seen this already, but I'm really big on Litecoin right now. Litecoin has a big, tremendous pattern, huge symmetrical triangle, and it's just starting to break out of this. We had an inverted head and shoulders just prior to the breakout, and we had an alert level there at 51.68 in the power hour. And that one, look at how that blew off. Look at how that blew up. I mean, absolutely tremendous breakout on that candle, and the buying pressure has been fairly consistent ever since. If you look at Litecoin going back a little ways, if you guys remember, Litecoin for the past year has, not that it's done nothing, but it's trended with the market, but it's been a laggard. It has not led the market since this run here, from the latter part of 2018 into the middle part of 2019, where, keep in mind, this thing had a ridiculous rally of 500% almost by itself. So Litecoin can get up. And right now, I don't know if it's going to go up 500%, but it's definitely on an upswing. And the beautiful part about it now is where it's breaking out from in this triangle, right towards the end of the triangle. It's a little bit late. I would have liked it to break out right about here in terms of, where we are in the triangle. Most of the great breakouts happen between 60 and 75%. We're like 95% of the way through this thing. So it's taken its sweet time, but that's okay. I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. And the action recently has been very good. If we can maintain these good volume levels, you can see here what we did. We came up, popped up, consolidated, beautiful pop-up here, and then we kept relatively high volume all the way through, except for in these little consolidation areas. So maybe something like that. Maybe we do get back up towards the 140 level of this prior high, but we have a little bit of congestion going to be here at 85, but past that, there's not too much to stop us from getting up here above 125. So hopefully that's going to happen. And I don't know what Bitcoin does during that time. I think it's interesting right now because Bitcoin and Litecoin and some of the DeFis have been leading this market. Link has taken a step back from leadership positions. Cardano looked like it was going to take over, but never really kind of followed through. And that's been about it. So it's a pretty narrow breadth market. There's some other coins starting to set up that we keep tabs on in the power hour. But other than that, it's really been Litecoin and Bitcoin lately. And that's fine. I mean, I can't invest in all top 20 stocks anyway, so I'm not worried about only investing in 2 or 3 right now. So not a huge issue, but I really do like the momentum shift in Litecoin. Percentage-wise, Litecoin has been doubling and tripling Bitcoin in recent past, so I'm okay with that as well. And I do like the fact that it's broken over prior highs, done good at alert levels. My volume aggregation tool here Now, my volume aggregation tool, for those of you that don't know, actually aggregates buying pressure and selling pressure. And what we're seeing right here is larger accumulation and buying pressure since our inverted head and shoulders breakout. And so I'm really liking the action here in Litecoin. But bringing it back to Bitcoin, I think it's very interesting that Citigroup has finally, I don't know about finally, but has jumped on the bandwagon talking about, basically, they say 300K, but 320K price target for BTC, which is 20x where we are right now. Seems a little bit odd that it's almost exactly 20x. Now, I'll end with this, guys. If you know anything about analysts out of big banks, they're usually full of crap, and a lot of it. So I wouldn't be betting the house on 318. As a matter of fact, usually when I see something like this coming out of a large institution, especially one as garbage as Citibank, I would likely be using that to look to exit. So I'm loosely keeping that in the back of my mind, but I'm not going to let that phase me in BTC. The good thing about Bitcoin versus something like a stock is that Bitcoin is global. So it's not that Citigroup has, carte blanche over Bitcoin like it may on some other stock that they have, a lot of insight on. Because keep in mind, if you know what an institution does for a stock, it actually usually holds quite amount of stock, and it has options. Like if they IPO something, I don't know if they IPO'd Beyond Meat, but say they IPO'd Beyond Meat and they want to get rid of a bunch of Beyond Meat stock. Usually they'll be granted stock or options in the stock on the IPO, and they'll use news articles and things like this to actually exit while pumping to the general public. They get away with it. They've been getting away with it for 120 years now, so I don't see it stopping anytime soon. So it's a little bit trepidatious that they're coming out with a crazy price target, but at the same time, it's not an IPO. They don't really have control over Bitcoin. Could Citibank have a large Bitcoin position they're not telling anyone about? Absolutely, they could. But at the same time, I don't know why they would dump it at this particular moment in time, right before 20K. Really makes no sense from a lot of standpoints. I won't go too deep into it there, but anyway, guys, hey, thanks for joining. That's all I got today. Bitcoin's doing great. Litecoin's doing great. And if you guys are looking to kind of traverse the altcoin market and these ebbs and flows in the market, please consider my Power Hour, where every single day we go into the market and we do a pretty good job of timing market reversals and finding strength in bottoms and bottom buys and breakout buys. We do a pretty good job, and still a thriving community, so really happy with it. And if you guys do want to join that, feel free to check out my website, real-crypto.com, and click on services. And if you don't want to do that, but you still want to chat with a good group of traders, and I'm in the Slack chat room too, and if you want to ask some questions, again, sign up for the Slack chat room. It's on the homepage of the website. It's pretty simple to get into, and I hope to see you guys in there. So thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you next time.